it's fine. Like I can see the
So
detail.
this is the way. It's okay. So my name, as I say, is Hugo Araujo, and I do work in different kinds of disciplines. I'm certified biomimicry professional since 2011, 2013. I'm part of the second global generation, and Melina here is part of the first one, for example. So like deep story together in biomimicry, especially in biomimicry in Latin America, and of course in our land, Colombia. So what I'm gonna do today is just to take you through the biomimicry design lenses, because I think it's very important just to share with you how we think in biomimicry in terms of governance. And that will be just done by Seven Vortex, because I cannot speak for this for like everyone. We're all trying to make our own approach on this and bringing like our perspective into the game. What I like from biomimicry is like nobody holds the truth, and we're all learning from each other. So the first thing is analyzing the context. And I like this idea of presenting as a fantasy economy that we're living in, because when we call externalities things that we cannot really put into the account, then it becomes like really as a fantasy way of seeing things. So it is an economy that is not connected. But this imaginary layer is the market that we live in. So it's very important to acknowledge that we are part of nature, and this projection of what we are is also part of nature. So we need to understand it and to make it work in a more aligned way with nature and with life. So I understand governance as a self-regulatory process. Melina explained already the idea of self-regulation. And I think it's important to understand that as a collective, we are, as nations, we are bringing governance to our lives. And this is our intention to be governed in this way, or we have different kinds of intentions. So I went to see this artificial intelligence that I've never been into before this, and it was very interesting to see their responses of what governance is. And I think it's as good as the one in Google that I saw also from Luis. And I don't think this is what matters the most, like discussing the really meaning of governance, just to let you have an idea of where I come from, right? Like to understanding governance as the way the groups of organizations, they manage, control, and direct processes, policies, systems to determine how decisions are made and how power is exercised within a given entity. So in biomimicry, we go and we see the function that we are looking into, and then we try to understand how nature works in this way. So we go to this taxonomy, and we try to think about like what kind of things are like sending signals, processing information, or computing, learning, different kinds of things that we can get from there. In my case, I also went into decision-making processes because I see governance with this idea of ensuring, like an effective governance, the one that ensures transparency, accountability, and participation, like held accountable. And it can enforce the rules, the policies, and standards, and the goal is to guide the behavior. So I think it was interesting as an idea. I never studied like this, but I do see the way that we do it in biomimicry. So in the part that Melina and myself are okay is in the pillars or the essential elements of biomimicry, which is really about this ethos that we are not using with the intentions against life, the knowledge, the thing that we know, from reconnection. So we are connected with nature as one nature, and from the side of emulation. So science actually keeps us together just in the way of emulation. So I went just for this example into metabolism, and these are also pieces that I've done before. So I hope you also enjoy them. So this is the way that I see metabolism, and it is the relationship between energy, matter, consumption, conversion, ecosystems, and organisms, and they're all connected. And in this way, it's a process where we need to see regulation to happen, and regulation is oriented towards life, to be alive as a system. If I think as an artist with the idea of regenerative metabolism, I wish to have all these kind of different parts of the metabolism adding to each other, so we can actually be efficient in the way of creating conditions conducive to life. So what I did as a piece was this idea on metabolic Earth. So how to think revisiting the Gaia version, how to see the planet as a metabolic being and how to understand it. So once I had this vision of the blue veins, and the blue veins for me were really interesting because then it allowed me to be more empathetic with the planet as a whole, because I see it as veins, and I also could see the footprint of agriculture, for example, which is where we're lacking these blue veins in some places. So let me understand also the idea of bioregions. So all this part is a bioregion. And I would like to thank One Earth, but not just One Earth, like all what we're doing here comes from different sources. So we keep like adding to each other in the way that we can. And we're gonna see the gases that are happening also in this metabolic Earth. So for example, if we can see the metabolic process happening and understand better how the system is working, we will see some gases that are like main pollutants, and they're really market-based also coincidences. So in here we see advertising agencies, we see stock exchanges, we see trade-offs, and we can see how there are some coincidences, and this is all data that comes from open sources, and it is really a major pollution. And for example, if I talk about my native country, which is Mexico, I do see the way that economic development is happening. So I don't need to point anyone, you know, like from my own country, I know that this is how progress look like. And I think it's very important just to acknowledge it. We can also see the other part of the planet, and the other part of the planet is this planet of water that is water-based, and it has different codes. And that is also important to acknowledge that in these veins, close to these bioregions, we see people from a regeneration movement all over the place. And this is focused in some of the places that we think that are like less connected with nature, but they are also very active in trying to bring regeneration to the planet. So it seems like with this perspective that we are working as a species more and more, and we are connecting more and more towards like a common goal that is regeneration of the planet. So if I go into the self-organized natural systems, which is also what Melina was presenting, then I have to say that my only focus, I come from business, I'm not a biologist. So I need to learn biology like from zero, and sometimes I learn it in the right part, sometimes I do mistakes, right? But what I know is that neural networks and mycelium and ecosystems, they are all based in relationships. So when I was in nature, just living in a healthy ecosystem, I say like, this is very important because it is all about the interdependencies that we have in between everyone. So what if we can create knowledge ecosystems where this local culture could be connected, and that will be like also information from nature connected, and that will give us like important knowledge to take better decisions. And these relationships or interdependencies are called energy exchanges. So what I learned from biology, what was very important, is the same kind of like diagram that Melina was sharing. It's about relationships, and there are 6 relationships, 9 exchanges, and this gives us a life-centered perspective with the exchanges. So how can we actually think the market as an ecosystem? Because if we can map the energy exchanges happening there, we can also see the impact, like the predatory impact from one company to the planet, for example, because now we will need to see the planetary perspective one way or another. So for me as a business, biomimicry have helped me to have the pillars, the life principles, the biomimicry thinking, and the deep pattern from biology in order to create a tool that it is a collective intelligence. As you can see, like these are my tools. So to connect community, pioneers, and organizations. In order to do this kind of tool, then the methodology was to get inspired from nature, from the local ecosystem. And most of the things that Melina is telling as well from science and from all this knowledge that she holds, for me, they were very evident when I was living close to nature, right? Like when I was sharing my nesting spot with this whole community of flamingos. And in this software became a knowledge management software inspired by ecosystems that it is already in as nature, so you can go there and also visit it from Biomimicry. And the community, it is around 5,000 curators. So we're very proud to say it because it really has been just an effort of one-on-one. And it is just beautiful to know that lots of people that are interested in these different kinds of communities are mapping there. And of course, we have worked with most of the like brilliant hearts, I would say. And I'm thankful to all of these people that are kind of making the difference around the world. And using 7 Vortex, we have mapped communities, we have mapped lives, movements, research through research, conferences. And by using this idea of metabolic Earth, we are also geolocating the ecosystem maps in there. And we are looking at the indigenous territories as well. So I'm gonna put just this video if it works. Otherwise, I think, yeah, there.
Pelicula mungua. Achati iki zikvihina. Egichihingichi gunkadukane. Tuinan kage.
Entonces lo que él dice es, si cada día más destrucción, ¿qué es lo que queremos nosotros como ser humano? ¿Vivir o morir?
So we went with them, and the last question was like, what do we want as humanity? Do we want to live or do we want to die? And this just very basic question that they were asking to in this ceremony, it just very deep put me in touch with biomimicry as well, because in biomimicry we think that there is this system goal that is creating conditions conducive to life. So actually, if we believe that the planet wants to live, then we are here to add value to this living tissue, right? And this is what we're doing as regenerators. And I think once that you understand that, then you can go and work with the life principles. And this is what we do. And this is how all the tools that I created in business way and in a way to create a difference from the market and from technology. Then I have created this digital membrane for trust and transparency. So right now, this membrane, it is helping different alliances. We have systemic goals that are interesting for bioregions. Like, and it's something that I've learned all over the way, right? Like, it is not knowledge that I can claim for myself, but it is really cumulative knowledge. And this is what we do as a species. By sharing, we actually can learn faster from each other. So it offers a balanced view, and then you have different kinds of visualization. So we are using nature and these exchanges also to build a new narrative around bioregions and to understand how technology can actually help us to see the specific spots in the planet and bringing connection to different actors around the planet and around the region. So from treaties to banks to governments, indigenous entrepreneurs, how can we actually build this mycelium, a digital mycelium as well? And we have already done it with Costa Rica Regenerativa, and it proved success for 1 year. And I think that is very important. And right now, like, it is not just the first part, but we have done it many times. And we are really happy to share that because all of you have been part of this. And I want to thank you as usual for all the efforts that you have put and the help that I have received. And I think this is the final message for me. It is that we are all part of the same energy. So it is really important for us to acknowledge it and to understand that it is in the advantage of everyone, right? It's a collective advantage that we have as humanity. So we really need to work towards this idea of having just a common goal as a species.